Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah and day 10 of the Halloween Craft Countdown, where I'm sharing a brand new Halloween paper craft with you every day for 20 days. We're halfway through the countdown, and if you're a fan of gnomes, particularly layered paper craft gnomes, you are going to love today's project. I've created these two adorable gnomes visiting the pumpkin patch. They're surrounded by pumpkins and they're out having amazing fun on an autumn day. There are lots of papercraft layers in these to bring them to life and to add all of the details. Cut them small to go on a greetings card, large to go in a frame, small, again, to go perhaps as a magnet on a refrigerator, or large to display just on a shelf as they are. There's so many possibilities for how to use these designs, but before you can use them, you've got to make them. Let's get started. The files for this project are free for the next 24 hours. Here's how to download them. Register a free ticket for the Halloween Craft Countdown at craftwithsarah.com/HCC25. After registering, you'll get an email which contains a link to the schedule page for the countdown. Visit the schedule page to find and download today's files. Each download is only available for free for 24 hours after it goes live. If you've missed some, check out the Instant Access Bundle at craftwithsarah.com/HCC25 bundle, which gives immediate and ongoing access to all of the files from the Halloween Craft Countdown, plus loads of extra bonus designs. Or purchase just this design at craftwithsarah.com/products. To find the designs from this countdown, click into the Occasions filter and choose Halloween. The designs will appear here each day once they become available to buy. The download comes in a zip folder. You need to unzip this before uploading the SVG files into Cricut Design Space. Once you've downloaded and unzipped the folder, it's time to get the SVG files into Cricut Design Space. Open up Design Space and start a new project, then go to Upload over on the left. I've already uploaded the female ones, so I'll show you how to do it for the male gnome. Press Upload Image along the top, and then you can either click Browse to find the files on your computer or drag and drop them in. Choose the unzipped version of your download, and within there you've got female and male subfolders. I'll go into male, and then there are several different versions of the file in here. For Cricut Design Space, use the file in the 01 Cricut version folder. If you're using a different type of cutting machine, such as a Silhouette or Scan and Cut, one of the other file versions may be easier. For videos on which file to use, head to craftwithsarah.com/help. Choose your type of machine from the list on the screen, and there are separate videos and tutorials in there for you. I'm going to look in the 01 Cricut version. There'll be one file in here that starts SVG-01 in the file name. Click and drag that in, and this is what it looks like. Press Continue. You don't need to change anything on this screen, just press Upload. Then the file gets inserted onto your canvas. You can close out the window on the left by clicking on the arrow. And then to get the female one on, I've already uploaded that one, so I can just select it from my recent uploads and press Add to Canvas. And there they are, aren't they cute together? If you want to resize them, click them one at a time. Make sure the padlock icon above the width and height box is closed. If yours is open, you can click it to close it. And then you can type either the width or the height, press Enter on your keyboard, and the other one will change in proportion. And then I could do the same for that one too, to make them the same height. For videos on how you can perfectly size these to fit in a frame or shadow box, or how to put them onto a greetings card, check out craftwithsarah.com/help. Choose your type of machine, and there are separate videos in there on how to do that. Or check out the Foundation Learning section on the schedule page for the Halloween Craft Countdown for other related tutorials. But apart from resizing, this comes in all ready to cut. I find it easier to cut them one at a time so that I know which pieces go with which gnome. If you want to do it like that, hover your mouse over one of them in the Layers panel and click the eye to hide it. Then it will only cut the one that you've got left. And then when you've cut that one, hide that one, turn the other one back on, and then give that one a cut. But if you prefer, you absolutely can cut them both at the same time. When you're happy with how everything on the screen is looking, press Make over on the top right, and that will separate out all the colours for you. You can change the paper size in the drop downs down here, and you would need to do that for each colour. When there's lots of pieces of the same colour, you can move them about to take up less space on your cardstock. For instance, I can change that to A4, and then it's put these bits on another sheet, but I think we can get those to fit all on one. To move things, click the three dots and then Move Object. Make sure you choose the other version of the same colour and press Confirm, and that will move it. Oh, maybe it was right, maybe it won't fit. Let's see. Oh, it will. Look, there we go. You can move things about by clicking and dragging and using the rotate. Just make sure nothing overlaps. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to get all of those bits on one sheet, but I can move the pieces. That one I'll probably get on the other one. It's up to you how much time you spend on this, or maybe you don't do it at all. I just like to use as much of my pieces of cardstock as I can. So now I'll only need that tiny little bit on the second sheet, which means I'll have all of this bit left to use on another project another day. When you're happy with how everything's looking, press continue to connect to your Cricut, then follow the on-screen instructions to get everything cut out from cardstock. Here are all the pieces of my male gnome cut out. I'll show you how to put this one together first and then do the female one afterwards. I've laid all the pieces one on top of the other, following the assembly guide that's included in your download folder. I'll be sticking this together with a combination of glue and foam squares. The glue I'm using is Barely Art glue, but I also like halal. The reason I like these two glues is they don't bend or wrinkle the card like other glues can do. These are the foam squares I'm using from Dot & Dab. These ones are a little bit thicker than what I normally use. These ones are 3mm thick. Usually I use 2mm, but I accidentally bought the wrong ones and I'm going to use them up. So I don't quite like the look as much when they're a little bit thicker. I find it's a bit too tall. I definitely prefer the 2mm, but it's still fine to use them and I'm not going to let them go to waste. If your foam squares are bigger, you can cut them smaller with scissors if you need to. As with all my layered designs, we're going to work at the bottom and then come upwards. So I'll move these pieces apart, trying to keep them in kind of the right order in different sections, seeing as I've gone to all that effort of putting the bits in order. The very bottom bit is the blue, and then there's this yellow on top, but we've also got the stem of the sunflower, which will be stuck to the back. So first up, turn this upside down, and then grab the stem of the sunflower and also turn that upside down so the leaf will be pointing to the right. Add a bit of glue on the top and bottom, and then put that in line. Doesn't really matter where you line it up, but have it kind of roughly going so it's coming out the middle of the bottom of that sunflower. And then just gonna make sure it's straight. There. And then the rest of this will be stuck on with foam squares. When adding foam squares to layers, especially bigger ones like this, as in bigger layers, not bigger foam squares, try and make sure you've got your foam in all of the sort of sticky out extremity areas, like the sunflower on the edge of the hat and the one up here, and also down into kind of towards the edges. It doesn't have to go right into the very thin bits. And then also one on the back of that sunflower leaf. First up, I'm going to work my way around the outside of the whole piece of card. Now that I've worked my way around the edges, I also want to put some foam squares in the middle section. This is especially important for larger bits of card like this. If there was nothing in this whole middle area, there's nothing to keep it level, which means that your card could end up bending downwards like this, instead of staying perfectly flat. Adding some foam squares in the middle means it will be flat and you'll get a better overall 3D appearance. Now I can peel the tops off to reveal the stickiness underneath. And bring the base back in. And line this up and then gently drop down. You can use the bottom line to line it up and also the edges of the sunflowers. The reason for gently dropping down is that it won't actually stick if you're very gentle and just lie it on top. And that means if you're not happy with the positioning, you can pick it up and move it without causing any damage. I haven't quite got that lined up along the bottom right. And that looks good, so I can push down to stick. Next up is the top layer of the sunflower, and this one will be glued on. Then you can either do the rest of the bits of the sunflower now, or you can do it later. It doesn't matter. I'm going to do it now. Put some foam squares in the middle and on the leaf. Then we've got the circle for the middle of the sunflower and the leaf cut out to go on top there. Next up, we've got this piece which makes the pumpkins at the back, and this one will be done with foam squares. You could also glue this one instead if you prefer a slightly less tall final finished design. Once again, line it up and then gently drop down. When you're happy with the positioning, push down to stick. We'll be doing the beard next, starting with the lighter grey. This one will be glued. Next up is the detail layer, also to be glued. And this goes on top. Yours will extend all the way along the bottom. I was using a bit of card that I'd already used a little bit of for something else, and it wasn't quite big enough, but I figured because this bit's going to be covered up in a minute, it's not going to notice. And better than cutting into a new sheet anyway. Next up are his feet, and these ones I am going to glue on. This is another one where you probably could get away with either, but I think gluing will look better. Now we're starting the pumpkin with this big green bit to do with foam squares. I think for this one, I want to try and get a little bit of foam a bit more out towards these corners and also in the stalk of the pumpkin up here. So let's cut some of these smaller. They cut really easily with scissors. You can just cut right down them to snip in half. It's just a little tricky then, actually trying to pick them up when they're this small. Now I'll do the pumpkin, starting with the solid orange. You could do the hat first before doing the feet and the pumpkin, as they're sort of separate builds. It doesn't really matter which way around you do it. That's that one. And then the detail on top, also glued. Then the little bit of green that runs along the bottom, also glued. And then foam squares for the hands. Now onto his hat. Got this yellow bit first to glue on. Then the next yellow bit, also glued. Then the lighter green bit to glue. You never guess what the next one's going to be. And there's the darker green bit, also to glue. As part of this layer, there's a separate square that cuts on its own, and this is to go in the middle of the hat to complete that sort of plaid pattern. just in there. Then next up we've got the rim of the hat, starting with the lighter green, and this one will be done with foam squares. Then the detail part to be glued on. And finally his nose to do with foam squares. I love how he comes together once his nose is on there. And there's all my details. Remember, mine's looking extra deep because I'm using those 3mm foam squares instead of 2. But it helps to see the layers a little better. That's Mr. Male Pumpkin Gnome all finished. So now let's take a look at the female. Here's the female gnome cut out, and once again all the bits laid on top of each other following the assembly guide. There are lots of layers in her to make up all the details in her clothes and the different pumpkins and sunflowers, so it's already super thick. I'm not sure if I'll be able to show you without wrecking everything. Look how thick it is already, and that's with nothing glued together. Okay, let's move the bits apart again. We're now left with just the bottom and the yellow, and this one, just like the other one, also has a green bit to go behind for the sunflower. Turn that upside down, and then also turn this bit upside down. It might not matter on your card, but mine's textured on one side. Oh, and I just glued the wrong bit. I want to glue the front so that it can go on upside down, like this. Then check it's straight. There we go. And then foam squares for the rest of this piece. Bring in the base, line this up and gently drop down. And push down if you're happy. I probably should have put a little bit of foam square under the stem of the sunflower because that's going down a little bit and touching the sky. So let's just sneak that in there. There we go, that looks better. Alright, then there's the other sunflower bit to glue on. And this time, to try and make it a little bit less overall layers, I've only done the sunflower part, and it does mean it's kind of tricky to line up. So don't worry too much if you can't get it in exactly the right place. Just kind of get it vaguely. It doesn't matter too much. I'm going to try and do it right for the sake of this video. Kind of keep turning. It lines up. You could look at the assembly guide, which I don't have in front of me, which would show you the orientation, which bit's the top, and then it would be much easier than what I am trying to do. There we go, that looks right. I got there in the end. But say, if you don't line it up, it doesn't really matter, it'll just look like there's more petals on the bit underneath. And then I've just noticed a mistake in this file, which I will correct before you get it, which is that the leaf shape is not on the stem like it was on the male one. This should have the outline of the leaf on the stem so you know where to put it. It should be more like that. No, like that. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to go for that. When you get it, I'll make sure it has that leaf shape on the stem. And then the middle of the sunflower to do with foam square. Next up, we've got the piece with the cutout for the feet. Turn this upside down and get the little semicircle shape, and then glue this to the back to overlap those holes. And then glue the rest of the piece. Oh no, I've missed one. Should be the blue first. Otherwise she's going to end up with yellow legs. Which is fine. If you wanted to have yellow legs, she can have yellow legs. That one first, and then the feet. There we go. Next up are the 3 bits that make up her shirt, starting with the white. These will all be glued on. White first, then the light red, and then the dark red. Next up is the green for her scarf, and this time we've got the foam squares. Then we've got the detail layer for the scarf to glue on. Oh, I did a messy old job of that. Rub away that excess. Then the solid layer of her hair to glue. And I've just realised I've missed off her little yellow buttons, which I absolutely knew I was going to do. Glue those on now. Then this detail layer of her hair to also glue on. She's so thick already, especially with these extra thick foam squares. I reckon she's going to stand up by herself when she's done. Okay, so now you have a choice. You can either do the hat, the pumpkin, or the big pumpkin. Up to you. I'm going to start with the hat. And we've got the solid layer first to glue on. There's a little fly in here, that's really annoying. Then the detail layer, also to glue. Then build up the front of the hat. This one will be done with foam squares. Glue on the detail layer. This is very thin, I have to be careful. And then foam squares for the nose. For her hat, do foam squares for the bottom. So there's another sunflower I've got to try and line up. Then glue the next bit. And I think this time I'm going to glue the middle because I don't want that coming out too far. Okay, this pumpkin next. Use foam squares for the green. Glue for the solid orange. I can't pick it up. There we go. Glue for the detailed orange. And foam squares for the hand. Then for the big pumpkin, got foam squares for the solid orange. Glue for the detail. Glue for a bit of green along the bottom. And foam for her hand. There we go. There's my female pumpkin gnome finished. Lots of depth in her. Let's see, does she stand up on her own? Oh, not quite, 'cause she's a bit front heavy. No, not quite. I thought it would because it's so deep. Never mind. If you want to stand up your gnomes, then check out the Foundation Learning section from the schedule page of this countdown for links to separate tutorials on easel stands and also hooks and stands, which you can cut from cardstock to display your gnome designs or any of the other layered designs. Then there we go, there's Mr. Pumpkin Gnome and Mrs. Pumpkin Gnome looking absolutely lovely. I hope that you enjoyed this gnome-tastic video for day 10 of the Halloween craft countdown. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Cricut crafts and papercraft fun. I hope to see you tomorrow for day 11 of the Halloween craft countdown, but for now, thank you so much for watching. Bye!